Hi, this is Janice Sullivan from Sullivan J Photography, and today we're going to talk about the second video on basic focus stacking. So if you haven't seen the first one, go down below, watch the first one, then come to this one. Okay, let's get to Photoshop and stack our images from last week. So the first thing that I do is I actually get them into Lightroom before I go into Photoshop. It's just so much easier to organize, to put, as you can see here, I've actually put some colors here. The yellow, I've 3-starred the ones that I thought that I might use. So it's just more of an organizational thing because as you can see, it all looks the same. But when we actually post-process, you're going to see there is actually different changes in each of the shots. Right now, we're going to just do the really fast, quick, easy photograph of this dead flower that we shot last week. I just wanted some of the front in focus and some of the stem. So we'll go ahead and do that right now. And then we'll go ahead and get into this leaf and stack that, which will have a little bit more problems than what we're going to see right now. So let's go ahead and get to that dead flower. As you can see here, this is the dead flower, and in the front is in focus. The front of the flower is in focus. That's what I wanted, or semi in focus. And then I wanted to just have a little bit of the stem in focus. So I didn't do a complete focus stack. This is just sharing with you that you can do several stacks just for important parts that you want in focus and then bring it into Photoshop. Let's put it into the grid. And then all I'm going to do, you can see that these are highlighted. So I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to Command or Control click on that. And all I'm going to do is a right click and go to Edit In. And then I'm going to open in Photoshop as layers. Click on that. It'll take me into Photoshop, and we will quickly merge those two images together. Okay, so we're now in Photoshop. You can see over here down below on the right that I have both of the images that I want to stack. I do this type of stacking, doesn't matter if I have 1, 2, 3, 20, 30, 40, or whatever. What I'll end up doing is making sure that I'm selecting both of the layers. So I'll do Command Control click, and here are the layers. You can see that they are now selected. I'll go over here to Edit. Even though you saw that I was using a tripod, I usually will align the layers. Sometimes it doesn't work, but let's just go ahead and try it. I'll do an auto to see if the layers, maybe I moved something. Remember I was showing you that the lens sometimes can move things when you don't have an actual focus stacking goodie that I showed you, a focus rack. So that, let's see what happens. You can see over here that I think that there might be a problem, but let's go ahead now. The second step is to go back to Edit, and now you're going to auto blend layers. Click on that, and you can see it says stacked image, stack images. Right here. It's basically telling you, do you want to make sure that everything is in focus? So it takes your tones and colors. Yes, I want to do that. There is also, you could check this off if you want content aware fill. I don't need that, so I will uncheck that. The less you give the program information to do, the better it is for you. So don't check things if you really don't need it. We'll go ahead and push OK and let Photoshop do its thing, and let's see what happens. If this does not work because I've aligned previously the images, then I will redo it, and I don't like it. I can already see over here, we'll do really close. Let's see if I can get this up close. Right here, it's super blurry, it's funky, it's not working. So I'm going to go back quickly. Another tip, go to your history. You don't need to sit here and delete all this stuff. Just go down to where you said you wanted to the layer order, and it push me right back into the old history of when I started. So that's another good tip, because if things get screwed up, it's easy just to use your history information and just go back. So what I'm going to do now, again, select, and I'm going to go back up to edit, and I'm not going to auto align the layers. I'm just going to blend them this time and see if this works. There's only 2 images, so there really shouldn't be that much problems when it comes to actually stacking this. I haven't done a full-blown stack. Okay, here we go. So you can see this is basically up at the top. It's okay, it's out of focus. I didn't stack all the way to the top. I just wanted a little bit and gradual. This is what I was going for. It looks good. We'll get up close over here again. Let's go up close. And it's not so mushy. It's still out of focus, but that's okay. That's what I wanted. So that looks good. And what I would end up doing is just going down here and just merge my layers. You can flatten them if you want, but I usually merge. And then I will go ahead and save as. Now I'm going to post-process this next segment. So what I'm just going to do now is just call this flower, and I'm going to leave it in a PSD. That's just my flower stack. And we'll come back to this when, for me, I put TIFFs, meaning that basically it's almost pretty much done. PSDs means that I'm working on the image. I'll save it. Yes, it's good to go for next week when we post-process. Okay, let's get into a harder stack, that leaf that we did last week. All right, I'm back here in Lightroom. Let me show you what we've done. Here is the first in focused area, and then I went on to this area. You can see it's a little bit more in focus here, and it's gone more in focus here, and I'm gradually going up to the corner over here. I'm going to click on the first image and shift click to select all of them. Remember, I previously went through all of these to make sure that they were aligned the way I'd like them. I'm going to go ahead and right click, edit in, open as layers in Photoshop. All right, we're back in Photoshop, and I'm going to talk fast because I want to get through this really quick. This is a little bit more difficult, and truthfully, I only have, I think, 7 or 8 or 9 images here, and I really feel I needed more. But I don't care, I'm just going to do this because I wanted to make sure whatever I shot to share with you in case I need to fix something. In the last part of this quick video tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can fix images if the stack does not work. We're going to take care of it really quick right now. You can see over here that they're all lined up. What I'm going to do is, it's already highlighted here at the bottom. I'm going to shift click, I'm going to right click, and I'm going to duplicate the layers. Now this is a little bit more advanced than actual basic, but I still want you guys to see this. You don't have to do it if it doesn't work. Please give me comments down below and I can help you. I'm just going to push OK. All of these that are duplicated are highlighted. I'm not going to touch anything. I'm just going to go ahead and do a really quick right click, and I'm going to group these layers. And you can name it whatever you want. It's just basically a copy of everything that's been brought into Photoshop. I'm going to push OK. And you can see here is the group. Remember, everything on the top of your layers is what you can see. So we don't want to see any of this yet. All we want to do is just keep it for just in case purposes. I might not even need this, but I will show you how to fix an image in the very end if I do need it. I'm going to uncheck that so we don't see it. This is just a backup in case something works funky in the program. I'm going to take the first image up here at the top, go down to the bottom, shift click, and we'll quickly do the same thing. I'm actually going to go ahead and auto align layers and see if it works, and do the second step. And if the auto align makes things funky, I will go back to my history like I showed you before, not auto align, and then just go ahead and merge those images together without alignment. Okay, so I'll go ahead and stop this video real quick while it's processing, and we'll come right back. Okay, before I go ahead and go into edit and auto blend, I want to just give you a quick tip. Notice how this is all blurry and it has lines and it's kind of like funky in the end, and it doesn't look good. 95% sure that if I go ahead and blend these layers, it's going to look funky. So what I'm going to do is go back to my history palette here like I've done before, and I'm just going to go, oops, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to click on the create from group from layers. That's what I did right before I auto aligned. It's already highlighted again, so I already know just the way it looked that it's not going to work very well. So I'm just going to go ahead and blend the layers and stack them. Leave the seamless tones in. I don't need content aware fill, and I'll just go ahead and see what this does now. Okay, it did a pretty good job. You can see that now most of it's in focus, but there is some alignment issues. And that is now time to go into this group right here. It is a more advanced. Sometimes your stacking can work really nice in Photoshop. Other times this is what you have to do. Just to let you know, though, that I did put this in Helicon focus and I had no problems. That's why Janice uses Helicon focus. But I know a lot of people don't do this all the time, so I wanted to do the Photoshop. Unfortunately, Photoshop's not really made for stacking, so there's Zerine and Helicon for that. But let's go ahead and work on this. You can see here on the right, these are masks that have taken each of the photo and aligned what Photoshop thought was in focus. So all the white here, this area right in here, that is what Photoshop feels that is in focus. The black areas is the information that is not in focus. At least that's what Photoshop is saying to us. Right here is perfect. It's telling you right here, I mean, it's not telling us, it's showing us that it's not perfectly aligned. So now we have to go back and actually bring out the correct image to align it the best you can. It might not be perfect, but you can do the best you can with using masks. So we'll go ahead and now have to do that in this image. If you just want to like clone some of this out or move it and stamp it, you can do that, okay? So you can go ahead and clone and stamp over here to the left. You can see that it's misaligned here, but that looks good. This is misaligned. So I'm not going to show you a whole bunch of how to fix this complete thing because I'm going to do the basics right here. So you can clone and stamp easily by using this clone and stamp tool and playing with that. But what you'd have to do is you're going to take this and you're going to merge all of the layers together. It's just much easier, trust me. So I'm going to go ahead and merge these layers right now, and then I'll save it, and then we'll go ahead and get onto the group. All right, let's work with the group. This is more advanced, so if you're not interested in this, go ahead and just go check out my website at Sullivan J Photography and check out Helicon Focus. I had to throw that out, I'm sorry. But you can still use Photoshop. A lot of photographers do, so don't worry about it. I'm just like to be a pest sometimes. But what I would suggest to do is go into your group, and if you do an Alt Option and click on the eye, it will show you only that image. So you can see that it's the bottom left is what's in focus. So for me, it's just easier. I put bottom left. And then that's for me knowing that that is what is in focus. So sometimes these may be, it's easier to start from one side to the other, but sometimes it doesn't always work like that. So if I do an Alt Option and click on this guy, you will see that this top right is what's in focus. So I double click on that and say top right. And now I know what's in focus. And basically all of these, I don't name all of them. I just kind of know and just click around. We had problems right over here. You have to try to play and fix it, right? Right. So let's go ahead and look, find it. I'll do the Alt and Option and click. And that's not in focus. So let's just find the one that is in focus. And that's getting close. And even closer. And I think it was right in here. Yeah, there we go. That's looking good. Let me do one more just to check. Yeah, that's really sharp right there. Okay, so we're going to work with this one. Because I have this at the top of the main photograph, here's this one right here, the main photograph, it's taking over all the information from down below that what I've just done. So we see all the blurriness. If you want, you can drag this to the very top, depending on how you feel. If you want to put it above the group, turn it on. Now you can see where the problem is. What I'll do now is make a mask. So you go down here, click on this little TV, and it's giving me a white mask, basically showing that everything is what I see is what I get. Again, when I put the black on, it's just kind of like it's taping over it. Well, I want to fix this in here, so I have this one activated also, remember. What I'm going to end up doing is taking my paintbrush, and I'm going to click here to push black, and I'm going to paint and see what happens. I'm not sure if this is going to work or not, but let's just go ahead and paint. The flow is 100%, opacity up here. You can see I'm looking at everything up here, my flow. Make sure I'm on the mask, and I'm going to go ahead and start, painting. Oops, see, now it's starting to get blurry in here. So guess what? That means I need to use the one above or below. I can't remember. But here, this is nice and sharp. What I like to do is if you do a shift click, it removes the mask. Shift again and click on it, brings the mask back. So this way I can see what it looks like. This is the before, which is funky, and here is the after. And it's looking good except for down here. You can see that it's kind of a mess. It's become blurred again. So what I'll do is either switch from here. A really quick tool that I like to use is the X on your keyboard. And as you can see over here, look at this part right here. It changes back and forth. So I'm going to go ahead and change it to white, and then I'm going to paint back some of the information that was on the main photograph. Let's go back here, and I'm gonna open this one up because I believe it's the bottom left, so it's going down, remember? Let's make sure. Let's see. So if I mask this out, let's see what happens. Oops, I'm painting on that's a good mistake. Don't paint on the actual layer. You got to paint on the mask. So you could do Option Z or Command Z, I'm sorry, and get rid of what you've just messed up on. Or of course you can always go into your history palette and click on the mask and do it. Oh, I want to go ahead and do black and get rid of it. See, it's working. Now, because I feel like this is still a little funky in here, I'll go ahead and add myself another layer in here. And then I will do the healing brush and see if I could just get rid of some of the funkiness of that. So so you could see now that just doing a little bit of touch up goes a long way. And remember, this was the before where it was really funky. And then this is the after, and it's looking much better. I would do the same thing over here to the left, picking the correct image that was in focus and slowly blending that in. What I'm going to do is go ahead and fix this image just the way I shared with you, and then next week we'll get on to the fun post-processing. All right, I really hope this has helped you learn how to post-process in Photoshop your stacked images. I just want to remind you though, that if something is going wrong, most likely it's because you have not given Photoshop enough information. That means stacking enough images and overlapping them. Next week, we're going to go ahead and post-process these images. So I'll see you next week and having some fun with our macro stacked photographs. I'm Janice Sullivan from Sullivan J Photography. Cheers!